Hi guys, Emily here. I am so excited because Caleb and I just arrived to the drop point for our very first Azure Standard pickup. So back when we lived on the coast, the nearest pickup was like 2.5 to 3 hours away, which just wasn't feasible for us to go. But now that we moved, then there's a pickup that's 30 minutes away. So we just arrived and I'm so excited to be able to pick up our order and to share with you all what we decided to get for our very first order. And this is more of a pantry stocking order because when we left the old house, I went through and things that were expired I got rid of. We donated a lot of items and we really used the opportunity to clear out our pantry so that we could start fresh with foods that were, first off, in date and not expired, but also foods that were better for ourselves and our family. So we really used this opportunity of moving into a new house to kind of restart our health and restart what we eat. So once we get home, I'll make sure to show you everything that we got. All right, talk to you later. All right, so we are back home. So in all, it took about maybe an hour and a half or so for us to go pick up an order, come back home, and all of that. It was amazing to me as someone who was attending their first Azure Standard drop how efficient everybody was. The 18-wheeler pulled up, everybody knew exactly what they were supposed to do. They got up into a line, they got a box, put it down over here next to somebody's name, went back around and got into line. And they were some of the nicest people. I worried a little bit how heavy some of the boxes would be. But there was a couple of guys that offered to help me with my boxes, which was a big help. Now, of course, once I got home, I just relied on myself and on Caleb. He carried some of the smaller boxes and I carried the bigger boxes. So I did want to take you through a little bit of what we got. So the frozen stuff is over here, and we did just bring our big deep freezer. It had been at Rob's dad's house plugged in for the past few months, so we did bring that home the other day. So these will go downstairs into that freezer. So I got a 5-pound bag of frozen broccoli, a 5-pound box of frozen banana slices, 5-pound box of frozen strawberries, and a 5-pound box of frozen blueberries. We love our fruit smoothies at our house. And I know that frozen banana slices seems like a really weird thing to get, but I'm kind of thinking ahead for the postpartum period. Like I said, we really love smoothies around here, and I think it'd be a lot more convenient to have the frozen banana slices on hand versus having to run to the grocery store every week or so when I have a newborn and Caleb. So hopefully that works out well. And if all else, we could start using them for like some nice cream or something like that. So the rest of the stuff is mostly dry goods that I bought to stock our pantry. So I got a pound of beef gelatin. This will be used mostly for making like jello and stuff like that. A 5-pound bag of medium ground cornmeal for cornbread, tortillas. A pound of baking soda, and we use a lot of baking soda not only in baked goods but for household cleaning items as well. So my goal is for all of these that are in the bags to unbag them and put them in jars. We do have a lot of our pantry items in jars right now. I do need to still get some more jars because you can never really have enough jars. But these will all go into their respective jars at some point. Maybe not today. Maybe today. Five-pound bag of rolled oats or, you know, oatmeal cookies. I plan on eating after I give birth a lot of oatmeal just because it's so warm and nourishing. And I mean, we do love oatmeal around here, and baked oatmeal, and you can do pretty much anything with oatmeal, and I love it. £2 pounds of raw peanuts. So this is actually going to be roasted, and I'm going to use it for doing like peanut butter cookies, making peanut butter, using in granola, just kind of wherever we need to, but primarily for making our own peanut butter. A pound of dried sweet cherries. One of the things that Rob has requested is that I start making big batches of trail mix, which will be really good for him to be able to carry with him when he's out on calls and stuff like that. But Caleb loves trail mix, I love trail mix, and it's one of those easy snacks that you can customize to be, you know, as healthy or as unhealthy as you want. So Rob's will probably have, you know, peanuts, other nuts, the dry fruit and stuff like that. I can toss in like some chocolate chips to mine, or just something similar to that. So a 5-pound bag of yellow popcorn. We love making our popcorn from scratch. It's one of Caleb's favorite things to eat. Unfortunately, when we were at the apartment, we weren't able to make popcorn, and that was something that he really missed because we don't do like the microwavable popcorn or anything like that. So I wanted to make sure that we were well prepared with lots of corn for popping. A 2-pound thing of dates. So one of the things I'm going to start doing, I love dates, by the way. I love eating them. One of my favorite ways to eat them is to slice them, put some nut butter inside, and sprinkle some chocolate chips. But one of the things I'm going to start doing shortly is eating dates in order to help prepare for labor. And I think it's something like you eat 5 dates a day, and it helps your body get ready for labor and all of that. So I'm definitely going to give this a try. But Caleb loves dates as well. And again, we can also use this in oatmeal or any baked goods. So this was actually a new product, I think, that Azure Standard had, but I wanted to try it out. It's Scottish oats, and it looked like it would be very interesting. It's kind of a rough cut oatmeal that's a little bit thicker, and I thought it would be good to try as just something a little different from the regular rolled oats that we eat. So a 5-pound bag of Himalayan pink salt. We love using the Himalayan salt on pretty much everything. The salt that we currently had, the Himalayan pink salt that we had, was coarse ground, which is a little harder to use when you're just regular cooking and stuff like that. It's more so like a really nice finishing salt. So I did get this in the fine crystal, so that way we can use it a little bit more like you would use a traditional salt. And also for things like lacto fermentation and stuff like that, I did want to have the pink salt on hand for that. So a pound of arrowroot powder. There's a lot of different uses for this. You can use it as a body powder or something like that. I actually bought this for making homemade marshmallows, which is something that I want to do before I give birth to the baby. Just to have marshmallows on hand to be able to kind of give Caleb that. Also, the beef gelatin will go towards making the marshmallows. But to just kind of have that experience of being able to cook homemade marshmallows out on a campfire in our backyard. A pound of cacao powder. I love this, you know, baked goods, making homemade chocolate milk, stuff like that. I was running low on this, so I'm really happy to be able to have this back in our pantry. Five pounds of all-purpose flour. I don't think I really have to explain what this is for, but I just actually used up the last of our all-purpose flour today, so this was perfect timing. 5 pounds of whole wheat pastry flour. I've never used pastry flour before, but I did want to get this because it was whole wheat to be able to add to our breads and our cookies and stuff like that, just because it is whole wheat. Just to kind of get that extra few benefits from that, the extra little bit of fiber. So the next thing is something that I probably shouldn't have bought, because when we moved into the house, I noticed that we had a lot of dried beans. I'm talking about like 10 pounds of dried beans already. But I don't know what came over me, and I guess I thought we needed more dried beans. I may try to at some point go ahead and cook up a batch and can them, so that way we have some canned beans already on hand. But I got a 5-pound bag of black beans. So now we have like 15 pounds of beans in our house. But beans are good to have on hand. They're just a good staple. A 1-pound bag of raw pumpkin seeds. Again, this will be roasted. They'll probably be soaked and roasted actually, in order to add to our granola, to add to our trail mix, to add to our oatmeal. Just anywhere we want to add this extra crunchy bit of pumpkin seeds. And pumpkin seeds, I love that they have so much fiber. They have like 33 grams of protein and like 5 grams of fiber in them, so they are wonderful to have. And then they also have some good stuff, like they're full of iron, which is something that I'm definitely going to need after I give birth to the baby. So I'm going to be honest, I don't know how to say this, and people are probably going to butcher me in the comments, but somebody had posted online about Sucanat, S-U-C-A-N-A-T, which is kind of an alternative to white sugar. I think it's unprocessed cane sugar. And I did want to try that, so I got a 5-pound bag of that for using in our baked goods. I think it's supposed to taste a little bit more like a mix between like white sugar and brown sugar. I'm actually really excited to use it because we don't use white sugar in our house. We use alternative or natural sweeteners like honey or maple syrup or something similar to that. So I'm really excited to be able to try this, and I'll let you guys know what I think. I got a big thing of blackstrap molasses. This is going to be really good for me after I give birth because of the amount of iron in it as well. But I'm not really a big fan of molasses, but I do like using it in baked goods, and I'm hoping to find other uses for it. So I would love to hear in the comments how you use blackstrap molasses. What's your favorite way to use it? I know some people use it in more savory dishes, so if you have ideas or links for those, I'd love to hear it. Maple syrup, kind of a staple in our house. Right now I haven't found a local beekeeper yet that I can get honey from, and we don't have our beehive set up, so I don't have any honey in the house, so we've been using a lot more maple syrup than honey these days. So I just wanted to have some extra. I mean, of course it's good for, you know, pancakes, waffles, just general maple syrupiness. Baking powder. I had baking powder already in the pantry, but it was so old and expired that I ended up tossing it right before we moved into this house from the apartment. So I did need some new baking powder. And I believe this is aluminum free. It doesn't say it, but I think I went with this specific one because it was aluminum free. Alright, and everything that's left is going to be just spices for restocking our spices. So when we left the house, and then again when we left the apartment, I went through our spices and purged a lot that were out of date, that were ineffective, that just didn't have that fresh spice smell. So I'm restocking some of our spices. Alright, so Caleb decided he wanted to help me do the spices. So say hi to the camera. Hi. Alright, so we're going to go through the spices now, okay?
Okay.
Alright, you can sit tight if you want. So a 4-ounce bag of clove powder.
Clove powder.
Clove powder, that's right. And these are all going to be 4 ounces. So this is actually nacho cheese popcorn seasoning. Usually we just do butter and salt on our popcorn, but I thought this would be kind of fun, maybe for like our Friday night family movie times or something. Italian seasoning mix. So we do have a little bit left, but we're going through a lot of Italian seasoning right now. And usually I like to make my own, but since we don't really have a garden this year, I don't see us being able to make our own Italian seasoning. So I thought that would do for now. We have turmeric, ground turmeric, and
Ground turmeric.
that's right. I like using that for, I like making golden milk with it. That's one of my favorite beverages to sip, and especially.
I love it too.
You do?
I've never seen it.
Whoa! So I got that so I can start making golden milk again, especially after I give birth to the baby, because those herbs and the spices that are in the golden milk that I make are really good for lactation. So we have a thing of cinnamon.
No.
Oops, don't bite it.
This is for making stuff for like the ones on the bottom.
You nailed it. All right, show it up to the camera. Ginger root powder. We use a lot of ginger and different savory and sweet.
Ginger root power.
That's right. So of course the ginger root powder and the cinnamon will both go into the golden milk as well that I make. So this is cream of tartar.
Cream of tartar.
You're so smart. Onion.
This is onion good.
It is onion. How did you know it was onion?
That's because it has letters on it that say that.
Oh, you're really smart actually. Yeah, so that is actually onion granules.
This is so sweet and you can add it to anything.
Not quite. So this is actually garlic granules. But close. And this is the very last thing in here.
What is this?
It is whole mustard seeds, because one of the things that I wanted to make in the next couple of weeks or so is
Mustard seed.
is some of our own mustard. And I figure if I make it now, you know, it gets a little bit better the longer it sits. So if I make it now, like in a few days, it'll be really, really good. But I love fresh mustard, so that's something I wanted to get back into making. So that's everything that we got. I think I ended up spending like $2.80 or something once you include shipping. I'm really excited to have this opportunity to bulk order like this so close to home. Oh, you're being silly. It'll be a little bit before we make our next order, just because we do have kind of a stock pantry right now, and also with the baby coming, I don't know how much I'll be getting out of the house. But this is what we got, and like I said, I'm very happy to have this opportunity. I hope you enjoyed this video and kind of this peek at the things we bought for stocking our pantry. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Take care. Take care.